Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my updated Pixar ranking. Now, my previous Pixar ranking was back in 2018 when Incredibles 2 was released. So, with three more movies being released since then, it is about time I update my list to rank all the 23 movies. And Pixar, of course, is one of the three best animation studios working today, tied with Disney and DreamWorks for me. While I'd say DreamWorks take the cake in terms of franchise building and sequels, Pixar are the icing on the cake and the masters of original concepts, and they prove that animation doesn't have to be just for kids. So, without further ado, if you want to know my uh, favourites and least favourite Pixar movies, then just keep watching. At number 23, everybody's picker for the worst Cars 2. I mean, sorry, Alan Kalo, but Cars 2 was the first movie that showed that Pixar was not the immortal studio we all thought they were. I mean, nobody asked for Cars to even be a trilogy of movies. I mean, the first Cars is one of the few Pixar sequels that was not sequel worthy, and Cars 2. I mean, the fact that it tries to be a spy James Bond-esque movie as well as a racing movie makes this movie Pixar's messiest movie ever made, and Mesa becomes the most insufferable and unlikable protagonist ever in a Pixar film. I have no idea what possessed them to shift the focus from Lightning McQueen to Mesa in this movie, and I don't blame McQueen for getting mad at Mesa. And this is easily Pixar's most marketable and merchandise movie ever made. That's the only reason Cars 2 exists, just to, sell a bunch of toys. Number 22, The Good Dinosaur. Yeah, I know you may think I'm being a little harsher ranking The Good Dinosaur this low. I mean, I know this movie does have its fans, but yeah, this is Pixar's most major disappointment for me personally. I mean, especially as a follow up to their landmark movie in 2015, Inside Out. So yeah, this was a total downgrade from Inside Out. I mean, you'd think that Pixar would use uh, the wonderful concept of dinosaurs, surviving and the meteor missing the dinosaurs. You'd think Pixar would use that to tell a story about dinosaurs, bonding with humans and how dinosaurs integrated with human society if they never went extinct. But they don't. Instead, they just, picked uh, plots from other movies like The Lion King, The Land Before Time, and even uh, Dinosaur from 2000, and just meshed them all together to make a movie, and it makes this Pixar's most uh, formulaic and cliched movie to date. So, number 21, Wally. Oh, sorry, guys. I know you're all thinking, Harry, you didn't. Don't tell me you hate Wally. I don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not hate Wally. I just, I just find it to be Pixar's most overrated. That's all. I mean, sorry, Alan Kalo. I know this is your favourite Pixar movie. He is not going to like my list, but I mean, I mean, what Wally does starts out strong in its first act, and Wally and Eve's love story. I mean, is uh, is as sweet as can be, and of course, Wally has, I mean, it has staggeringly good animation. Uh, I mean, I mean, the animation is always going to be the first praise you're going to give a Pixar movie, but the second half is far weaker. The movie goes downhill immediately once they get to the Axion, and also is just the animated rip-off of HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and yeah, I did. I mean, I just, all Wally and Eve are doing on the Axion is a bunch of random stuff. You're supposed to be trying to get the humans back to Earth. You could do it a little sooner in the movie than waiting. That they just wait until the climax to do that for some reason, and it never explains why the humans would leave Earth in the first place. Why would they want to live on a ship when they could have a planet? And this is a case of Pixar robbing DreamWorks of the rightful best animated feature award that should have gone to Kung Fu Panda, in my opinion. At number 20, Toy Story 4. Now, I know that there are a lot of people that were pleasantly surprised by Toy Story 4 and are glad we got it, even though nobody asked for it after the trilogy was complete. But I can't be in that camp. I'm sorry. For me, this is like Wally. This ties with Wally as Pixar's most overly praised and overrated movie. I did not see the need for a Toy Story 4 to exist, and I still don't. I do not think this movie did enough to justify existing. It just felt like, a extensive long epilogue after Toy Story 3, and it for, it forgot to be its own story. And the fact that it played a "You Got a Friend in Me" again at the beginning was just to draw people in forcefully with nostalgia. And though Toy Story 4 is the best looking Toy Story movie, I will say, and I do like Bo Peep's badass upgrade, and I did strongly sympathise with Gabby and wanted her to find the kid that she deserves. She is not the villain as some would think, but I don't like the ending at all, where Woody picks to leave his toy gang behind in favour of living life with Bo Peep. That just totally uh, goes against his decision at the end of the third movie and ruined it. And the other toys, aside from Buzz, are literally stuck in the RV the entire movie and do nothing. And and Bunny and Ducky were just as annoying as Mesa. They were that bad, and I strongly disagree with the Academy for giving Toy Story 4 Best Animated Feature. I still would have given it to How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World, the true deserving animated masterpiece of 2019. Okay, we passed the bad to mediocre Pixar movies now, and now we are coming to the good ones. At number 19, Cars 3, and now Cars 3 is genuinely not a bad movie. It's an apology for Cars 2, making Lightning McQueen the central focus again, and bringing back the racing plotline, which is the plotline that Cars should be all about. And Cruz Ramirez may be my favourite character in the entire trilogy. She's the first major female racer in a Cars movie, and she turns out to be equal to Doc Hudson as the wisest and greatest mentor that McQueen could ever ask for. And don't have any issue with Herb stepping in to win the race for McQueen at the end. I mean, because it was so genuine of McQueen to let her have her moments, and the fact that they included recorded lines from Paul Newman to include Doc in the movie in some form was a beautiful tribute to Doc Hudson. Though the movie was sadly not as dark or as daring or as edgy as that teaser trailer made it out to be, but for what it's worth, Cars 3 was at least a passable wrap up to the trilogy that nobody asked for. But number 18, Cars, the original and what will always be the best of the Cars trilogy. Now, sure, the first Cars was the first. It was considered the first disappointment from Pixar, but I've never seen it as that. I am sure it's not a home run for Pixar, but so that doesn't make it a bad movie. I've always defended it, and you could see how passionate John Lasseter was about this movie and how personal it was a story to him, and this movie does have, you know, a poignant message that changes the game of racing movies. You know, winning the race doesn't always win you respect. So Lightning, by letting Chick Hicks win so that he could help the king across the finish line, made the loser technically win in the end. And I think Radiator Springs is adorable setting, and the racing sequences are colossal and exhilarating to watch. And at number 17, Finding Dory, these 13. At number 17, Finding Dory, the sequel to Finding Nemo that I heard rumours about, but I never imagined would actually come to fruition until 2016, 13 years after the original Finding Nemo. And Finding Dory, I wasn't expecting much. I knew it. There was no way it would top Finding Nemo, and it doesn't. But it's still surprisingly a delightful sequel. And Ellen DeGeneres always knocks it out of the park whenever she voices Dory, and she gets to shine even more here as this is her movie, and we get to see the backstory of when Dory was just a kid, and she's just the cutest thing with her big eyes, and how she is sadly parted from her parents, and but the movie also focuses on how her short-term memory loss condition can sometimes be her strength, and how it's not always a bad thing. At number 16, one of Pixar's most underrated, A Bug's Life. And shout out to my friend Mr. TARDIS11/Ollie Pajak. This is his pick for most underrated Pixar movie, and I, like him, have always loved this movie and held it dear. I mean, and while people don't call this the worst Pixar movie, it's sadly the Pixar movie that people seem to talk about the least, which is a real shame to me, because A Bug's Life, while it may not be a flawless follow-up to Toy Story, but it's still a pretty damn bold and great one. It has a far more intelligent story than people give it credit for. People complain how it's just a predictable underdog story, but there's far more to it than that. It's about democracy prevailing against a dictatorship, how Flick inspires the answers who no longer obey the ruthless Hopper and his grasshopper gang, and the plot gradually matures as it goes along, and the third act of A Bug's Life, I think, is one of the most intense and darkest third acts of any Pixar movie. I mean, if the entire movie was lived up to that third act, then A Bug's Life could have been a top 10 Pixar movie for me.